Welcome to the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. Digital marketing essentials and next level tactics. From offsite and on-site optimization to persuasive selling and everything in between. You'll learn actionable tips on what it takes to outright and outrank your competition. Now, here's your host, Nate Need.
Welcome again to another episode of the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. You know, I get on these podcasts and I think to myself, I know we have listeners, people out there that are writing into us regarding some of the podcasts that we're producing, and we appreciate the feedback. But I feel like we need a joke. I feel like we need to tell jokes on here. So, today's joke is kind of just a classic, super corny dad joke. And this is, don't judge me based on my terrible sense of humor, but we need something on here to lighten the mood. I feel like we talk so much about very serious things that we need something to jazz things up a bit. So here's the joke of the day. So a guy he's at a gas station, and he's filling up his tank, and when he goes to pull out the plug out of the pump or out of the gas, his gas tank in his car, he spills a ton of gas up on his arm. And as he does so, he gets all over himself and all over his car and all over the ground. And so he gets himself cleaned up, gets out, is driving away after he's already dabbed up all the gasoline off his arm, and lights up a cigarette in the car. And he just bursts into flames. His arm is completely burst into flames in particular. Well, a police officer sees him, pulls him over, and helps him extinguish the flames, and then subsequently gives him a ticket. And the guy's like, why am I getting a ticket? His ticket was because he was driving with an illegal firearm in the car. I should produce sound effects so I can have clapping or just kind of laughing there. But I have to tell some jokes. We've got to have something in here that's a little more interesting. So today's episode is all about white label SEO, and I just wanted to talk briefly about a couple of things that are cons for white label SEO agencies. So if you're an agency, maybe you're a startup agency, maybe you're just a small local shop that's doing local link building, local link citations for clients that have retail establishments, and God bless those retail establishments right now. They're really struggling with COVID-19 coronavirus. But if you're just a local business looking for links and want to have a white label agency, there are a couple downsides to hiring a white label agency. And the two that I can really think of off the top of my head is, one is loss of control. So you do not control the process. You're basically outsourcing that, not offshoring, but outsourcing that process to another agency. So accountability is now taken off of your hands and put into the hands of someone else. So that loss of control requires you to have a great deal of trust in the individual you're working with. And this is trust on both deliverability on the specific links that you're looking to acquire, as well as the speed that you can promise to your clients that you're getting them, and all the other aspects that relate to that, whether it's longevity of the links, that you want them to stick around for a long period of time. Unless you're running a PBN, a private blog network, there are no guarantees to how long those links are going to stick around. There's always a potential that they could disappear at some point. Secondly, to reiterate maybe some of the cons of white label SEO, white label link building, would be the fact that white labeling has a perceived higher cost than doing it yourself. Now, let's talk for a second about what that means. Yes, you're probably going to pay a higher cost on a per link basis, but think about the costs of operating your own team if you're doing anything at scale. So you might be able to acquire some links and do the hustle of writing the content and pitching them to publishers, finding the publishers. That process you could certainly do cheaper by bringing it in-house, for at least at a small scale. But scaling it up to a large degree, if you want to grow your business and work on your business and not in your business, the cost is actually there's a cost benefit analysis, and there's an inflection point that you need to get to on scale where the cost is actually marginally higher for those that are looking to do it themselves. So if we just did it ourselves for our own business, it wouldn't make sense. But at the scale that we are able to do it, it does make sense. So those are a couple of the cons of white label SEO. Obviously, our best white label SEO clients eventually do graduate and establish their own firms and become not direct competitors, but indirectly in competition with us. And that's great. That's fine, because we love supporting those groups. We'd love to know a little bit more about your needs, as well as some of the questions you have, so we can discuss them here on the podcast. And at some point here in the very near future, we're going to start having a little bit more back and forth with some interviewees, and take the podcast a little bit different direction in some regards. So stay tuned. Would love to hear your feedback. Thanks again for joining us. Have a great day.
Thank you for joining us on the SEO.co podcast. We appreciate your time. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show, and visit SEO.co for more resources based on today's topic, as well as access to more podcast episodes to help you improve your site's long-term SEO success.